You took an untraditional route going to Chatsworth. I actually love it because he's playing every position as a freshman. You know, what went into that decision?
You know, it was real research. You know, I was, following, all the superstars. Where did they come from? What was their high school experience? Were they on super teams? And I found that the super team kids, when they get to that next level, they're just perfect role players because they've never actually had to do it themselves because they were used to, playing with even though they're Bugattis as individuals, they've never learned how to rub their engine fully. So what ends up happening is when they go to, an NBA or a college, and there's a player who's been carrying this team by himself, he becomes the alpha male. Mm-hmm. So, it's like instead of teaming him up with, these superstars trying to win, let him learn how to be a killer first. So that's why, I went back to the old ways.
Yeah, I love it.
It's back to the old ways. The private school and the teaming up is new basketball.
Yeah.
So the Colt was Colty last night, man. Man, as you guys just saw with the Gilbert Arenas clip, Gilbert Arenas needs to be celebrated. I don't know him. Met him one time for 3 seconds. His son is the best player that I've seen this year. Moreover than that, the man created a plan. And to the naked eye, Gilbert Arenas is an outlier. He's crazy. He's boisterous. Some may see him as impulsive. I don't know, but these are just comments that I believe that I've seen or heard online. The reality is this man has created a foolproof plan for his son and daughter to be astronomically successful in basketball. And this video is for the people who aspire to get paid to play basketball. I'm not talking about the students, right? I'm not talking about you just go to Harvard, Westlake. But I get perturbed at this cult-like behavior at Harvard, Westlake, man. The sense of entitlement. I'll give an example of my experience, right? We played Harvard, Westlake this year. And before the game even started, first of all, I'm going to say they were gracious outside of this one person I'm about to talk about. Gracious. AD was great. The guest locker room is amazing. It's just great. It's beautiful. When you go under, it's extraordinary. That's not what I'm talking about. The sense of entitlement. There was this, I'm going to describe him to the T. This well-aged, dry-aged, you know how you describe meat? White man at the scorer's table. And I'm the assistant coach, so my job is like, keep them motivated, keep them hyped, echo everything the head coach says. And he says, what you doing for that? You ain't going to win. Yeah, granted, we're 20, 30 points underdog. Yeah, we know that. We know that going in. But the fact that, and I wanted to respond to him. And he said it, there was 2 or 3 instances in the game where he said something really, really smart, really, really sarcastic. And at the scorer's table. And I had 15 young men there. And I had a young head coach. So I had to hold my water. And I had my son at the end of the bench. And I had to hold my water and be composed. And be the leader or the first lieutenant, right? And I graciously bowed out and I just smiled and I said, yeah. What I really want to say was, but moreover than that, this sense of entitlement of Harvard Westlake is disgusting. And it's destroying kids' careers. Fred, what are you talking about? I'm just going to make it plain as day. They got 3 kids in the same class playing the same position. And them motherfuckers never going to pay. When is the AD or the head coach going to be like, listen, young man. I know your goal is to get a basketball scholarship, but we got a kid in front of you that we're going to play. And I think it's in your best interest to go elsewhere. Harvard Westlake inspires you, encourages you to give up identity of self. It encourages you to give up family identity. The reason why is they encourage you to wait your turn. Wait your turn. No, you got to wait your turn. What do you mean wait? The hourglass is upside down. I got 4 years to be great. I got 4 years to prove myself to a college to invest damn near $500,000 in me. It's asinine. It's ridiculous. I'm not condemning the school because they have a 9-figure endowment. They're running business successfully. And since we're speaking of business, I'm not a jealous person. If my kids went to Harvard Westlake, they will be the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. You know, economically, financially, family-wise, all of that. That's not where I'm coming from this. But the fact that parents and kids give up their goal to wear that fucking sweatshirt. When in fact, the goal is to sustain your identity, accept the value that you have, and insert your value where you can enhance your value, i.e. the Arenas family. It could be private school. It could be public school. It could be Sierra Canyon with his daughter, or it could be Chatsworth with his son. It's amazing. It's beautiful. But what's not happening is you're not betting on yourself. They don't call it slavery anymore. You know what they say? Follow me. Slavery is a choice now. They don't call it. They encourage you to pay to join a group. That's slavery. You know what I mean? So, but the reality is, congratulations to them for winning the championship. But these parents accepting the Harvard Westlake goals over their last name and child's goals and I'm talking about kids that want to go to college and get a scholarship. I'm not talking about the kids that want to be a doctor and that play basketball so they can write it on their college application so they can have a competitive advantage versus someone, you know what I mean? Because if you go to Harvard Westlake, the goal is to go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Brown, Columbia. And since we're talking about going pro, because I have this conversation all the time. If you go to a stacked team, what Gilbert Arenas say, and I said it all the time because I gave the example with Brandon McCoy. He fits the eye test, but he's not a leader on the court. You understand what I'm saying? And I think he should transfer. The team should just fall apart. You know what I mean? Everybody go their separate ways. You know, they got a 7-foot at St. John Bosco sitting on the bench. It's ridiculous, right? And y'all forming these super teams and not forming super families. I'm going to repeat that again. Y'all forming super teams and not forming super families. What's the Arenas? A super family as it pertains to basketball. Now let's break it down. They've had 2 guys go to college. He says they're Bugattis, right? Yeah, they're Bugattis, Division I kids, great athletes, great students. I've never met them. I'm assuming they're a great person. The kid that goes to St. John's that went to Harvard Westlake is averaging 3 points. The kid that goes to Princeton that went to Harvard Westlake in terms of basketball, I don't know what they're doing academically, is averaging 1 point. The only pro that I could think of, the 2 are the Collins twins, but those are outliers. They're 7 feet. They got that genetic gift from their parents. And that's what we're lacking. I saw the game last night. I watched both games. Trent Perry hugged his father. Thought that was amazing. They had a plan. Harvard Westlake worked out for them. But Harvard Westlake ain't working out for y'all motherfuckers. He only plays 6 guys. And then when you get up off the bench, guess what? You're not confident. And I know I'm going to be hated by this, but I don't give a fuck. I don't give a flying fuck. I don't want what's happening over there to happen to this next generation of kids where you feel obligated that you have to join a group to be successful. You feel obligated that you got to join this AAU team. You got to have that coach. You got to have that pair of shoes. No. You don't have to. I'm going to leave this here. I may come back with a part 2. I'm not hating because my kids will be qualified to go to Harvard Westlake if they do. But if Harvard Westlake ain't paying us, we ain't going. See, that's the difference between I negotiate everything. It's not what you're worth, it's what you negotiate. If Harvard Westlake ain't paying me to go there, I'm not going. They got a 9-figure endowment. You got to pay me to go there. And my kids are going to be that good. Remember this video. Remember what Gilbert Arenas said and what he's actually doing. But you know what you're going to do? You're going to go to Harvard Westlake and get in line. Yeah, they got an assembly line. And it's a great assembly line. I'm not knocking their business. I'm knocking the mentality of the parents that's allowing their kids to lose 2 and 3 years and then play a little bit their senior year. How you coming off the bench as a junior when you could be starting across the street? And lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. People say, if you're able to go to Harvard Westlake and pay any denomination of money, that means you're probably in a good enough area where you live, where the tax dollars, right? There's tax dollars flowing in your community that, guess what? That creates assets at that free high school that will enable you to have a competitive advantage over the Harvard Westlakes. You get what I'm saying? Hey, you get a 4.0 at a public school, you get a 3.4 at Harvard Westlake, they're going to take the 4.0 kid. That's DEI. Y'all go ahead and have a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm going to do a part 2 on this because I know I pissed some people off. And that's my gift. I get to piss people off. And peace.